Hi everyone, welcome to the M&M podcast. This is Mehr.
And this is Manasi. Welcome to our first episode of Just the Facts, a segment where we give you an unbiased look into the facts on topics that stir up controversy so you can form your own opinion, fully knowing all the perspectives on the issue.
Today, we are talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. If you ask anyone around you, you should get a mixed response going off of how widespread and controversial this issue has become. But many don't understand the current issue due to lots of misinformation. When it comes to police brutality, there's a long and dark history, which originated from segregation and redlining. And we are here to give you all that information about what is happening as of now so you can be well informed, have your own opinion, and not have to go off of an Instagram post or your friend's story.
Okay, so let's get right into it. The Black Lives Matter movement is one that addresses the injustices towards the African American community. Supporters of this movement claim that racism is still prevalent and institutionalized, and we have not reached real equality. They also address police brutality, claiming there is a bias when it comes to suspects of crime.
What started this recent rise of support for this movement was when George Floyd was arrested on charges of using a counterfeit bill. The video of the arrest caught the world by storm as many watched the heartbreaking scene unfold of Officer Chauvin's knee on George Floyd's neck as he screamed, "I can't breathe." Chauvin was recently found guilty to second-degree unintentional murder on the third degree, as well as second-degree manslaughter. As we looked further into the data, we found that George Floyd was not the first victim to such brutality. There are hundreds and thousands of victims lost in statistics that date way back to 2014 and earlier. A lot of people who disagree with this ruling state that his death was caused by pre-existing heart conditions. A medical expert in the trial ruled that his death was caused by intense pressure to the neck, and his heart condition just worsened it even more. Anyone would have died in that situation. Additionally, a lot of people are saying that Chauvin shouldn't be arrested for simply doing his job. But what people fail to realize is that the police should not have the power of life and death on their hands, even if the person is in the wrong. If you look at police violence report in 2020, victims of police brutality are either those killed in nonviolent charges when no crime is reported, killed during a traffic violation, or during a mental health crisis.
Now, going along to the defund the police movement, the idea behind this is that less funding should go into the police, and instead that money should be used into something else. For example, a snapshot from 2020 states the Dallas Police Department budget was about $517 million that year. That's more than the city spent on libraries, parks and recreation, public works, housing, planning and zoning, and municipal courts combined. Similar statistics were found in other cities as well. However, to address the police brutality, elected officials are considering special education towards police about how to behave, and they call it police reform. Unfortunately, this isn't really lowering the statistics in any way, which is leading to more people saying that defunding the police is the solution. From a criminal justice point of view, more police does not necessarily imply more safety. Black and brown communities are often targeted more with violence and harassment. Black Americans are 3.23 times more likely than white Americans to be killed by police, according to a 2020 study by Harvard University. Police are often expected to do things they're not always equipped to deal with, such as mental illnesses, homelessness, etc. And the idea that the funding here is also moved to professionals. The idea is that the funding here is moved to professionals who can deal with this appropriately. However, opponents of this idea say that this will lead to higher crime rates and chaos, as the police department plays a vital role in community safety. They also claim that reform is possible, and the level of police misconduct is often overstated. The idea that they have is that the police force should not be disbanded or defunded, instead should be held responsible for any misconduct, and that should be dealt with appropriately.
But ultimately, it comes down to this. The Black Lives Matter movement is not all about defunding the police. It is about the injustice the Black community faces. And there are both pros and cons to defunding the police, but ultimately things should change. Whether it is through reform or defunding, that's up to you to decide. With more people falling victim to police brutality, such as Breonna Taylor and Kenneth Walker, is Chauvin's ruling justice or accountability? What is your opinion on the Black Lives Matter movement?
Thank you for tuning in to our first episode. If you would like more information on the Black Lives Matter movement and how you can do your part in it, we have linked a guide to being an ally in the description. But what you need to primarily do is listen to the Black community, support Black-owned businesses, and don't repost or share information about the movement on social media without checking the facts and its credibility first.
And that was all for Just the Facts Episode 1. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Thank you for listening. Bye for now.